Alright, welcome back. Episode 5 of It, Welcome to Derry. If you haven't yet, please take a quick second, subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Let's head into the sewers. Episode 5 picks up right where we left off. Halloran snaps out of his shine, Taniel is convulsing, and they rush him into the infirmary. Lily visits Marge in the hospital. Marge has an eye patch and tells everyone she injured herself when her glasses broke. She apologizes to Lily for not believing her before. They hug and promise to stick together from here on out. Lily meets up with Ronnie, Will, and Richie, who tells her everyone thinks she hurt Marge and that Marge is just covering it up. They head up to the standpipe and suddenly hear coughing coming from the tent. It's Maddie. He's alive. They're all shocked, and he asks them for help before he passes out. In Shaw's office, he tells Leroy the origins of it. Native tribes used 13 pillars, pieces of the crash object that carried it to Earth, to contain it within what is now Derry. Taniel's tribe belongs to a secret order that have guarded the pillars and kept it hidden for generations. The abandoned house at 29 Neobolt Street sits directly above the tunnels leading to all 13 pillars. Tomorrow, Shaw plans to have Leroy lead a team down into the sewers, find the pillars, and move them inwards, shrinking its cage and eventually capturing it. Shaw genuinely believes that he can end the Cold War if he can capture it and weaponize it. Leroy is furious that Shaw let his family move into its hunting grounds and storms out. Back at the standpipe, Maddie explains he's been hiding in the sewers, where the clown lives. He confirms Susie and Teddy are dead, but Phil isn't. He says it keeps some children alive to feed on their fear. They ask how he got away, and Maddie says he escaped by waiting for it to sleep because he only feeds at night. Ronnie wants to go to the police, but Maddie refuses. They're just going to send him back to his abusive father, and he says he'd rather return to the sewers than go home. The Native Council meets to discuss what's going on. The cycle has been less violent than 1935 and 1908. Only 12 disappearances and 7 confirmed deaths, all kids ages 5 to 16. He explains that it sheds and has tainted Derry's water since the beginning. Lore drop? They expect the augury is coming soon, the final bloody event marking the end of a cycle, usually after the townspeople become more aggressive, which they are. Suddenly a young man runs in and tells Rose they've taken Taniel. Hank is being led out of the jail and onto the prison bus headed for Shawshank. The crowd screams at him while Charlotte watches. Bowers tells him the last guy they sent there didn't last a week. Suddenly, a man in a red shirt rushes forward, draws a pistol and attempts to shoot Hank, but he's stopped by the guards and it fires into the air. He blames Hank for the disappearance of his kids, and we can assume he's Phil and Susie's father. Charlotte looks up and notices a sweaty, creepy smiling prison guard staring at her out the window before he quickly vanishes. Hank boards the bus and it leaves. Leroy goes home and tells Charlotte everything, begging her to believe him no matter how insane it sounds before he starts explaining. Rose confronts Shaw about Taniel being locked up, and Shaw says he'll release him once they finish. He reveals he forgot everything about Derry until he was given an experimental drug 5 years ago that restored his memories. After he and Rose escaped it as kids, she told him everything.
Can you keep a secret?
And now he thinks he can capture it for national security. Rose insists he's insane. It cannot be controlled. Shaw says they know about the Neobolt tunnels, and Rose tells him they're going to need her more than they realize. Back home, Rose opens a secret wall safe and reveals she has the sacred dagger from the Galoo story. Shaw lets her see Taniel. He tells her that they know everything except one thing. She gives him the sacred dagger. He's the only one who knows how to use it, and it will keep him safe. Fuller takes it for the night, but says he'll return it in the morning. Leroy moves his family to the base. It's far enough outside Derry, they'll be safe. Will quickly gets bored and asks his mom if he can go on a walk. He leaves, and on TV we overhear news reports. The prison bus Hank was on crashed, killing several inmates with Hank missing, and part of Neobolt Street is being shut down due to a gas leak. Lily tells the head of housekeeping that Maddie is still alive, and we learn Mr. Kirsch, the town butcher, lives with her. So that must mean that she's Mrs. Kirsch. Finally. However, his demeanor is a complete 180 from the friendly man we met with Charlotte, and it makes me think that Pennywise might be getting to him or influencing him. She tells Lily to go to the police, but Lily refuses and she makes her promise not to go into the sewers. Lily heads back to the standpipe with Marge. She says their best plan is to rescue Phil. If he comes forward, he can prove Hank's innocent and Maddie won't have to go home. She brought more of her mom's anxiety pills and plans for them all to take them before going in.
We'll each take as many as we can. Are you sure that's safe? My mom eats these like M&Ms.
If they weren't safe, she'd probably be dead by now.
They all agree with the plan, and Will shows up, out of breath, after running all the way there. The military arrives at 29 Neobolt Street, briefed by Fuller about its shape-shifting and use of fear, and they descend into the well. Taniel checks the dagger often. It glows whenever it's near. Halloran hears his grandma's voice twice but doesn't see anything. When he hops off a ledge following another guard into waist-deep water, it suddenly becomes bottomless and he's completely underwater. He swims upward towards a bright light and emerges in an old bathtub. Meanwhile, in the sewers, he's vanished and the guards panic. They start to hear voices. The lights on their guns go out simultaneously and heavy footsteps approach from a balloon-shaped tunnel before a pointed finger appears and we hear, "I want you." To please subscribe to my channel. As a ghost Uncle Sam appears and kills them both. Daniel looks back and realizes he and Fuller are the only ones left, and he makes a run for it. Fuller shoots at him and Daniel accidentally drops the dagger into the water. He tries to retrieve it, but Fuller's still shooting in his direction. He's forced to leave it behind. The kids go into the sewer, each popping 3 anxiety pills before they go in. Shortly after, they're all extremely drugged, slurring, moving slowly, and appreciating how soft hands are. Back in the bathroom, Dick's grandpa berates him and his grandma for their ability, and accuses them of keeping secrets. He makes fun of their process of locking evil spirits away in boxes.
Don't listen to him, he's trying to get in your head.
Oh, Dickie. Oh, lock him away in a little box in your mind and throw away the key.
His grandma tells him not to listen and not to let him open that box. He screams at him to open it, but Dick refuses. He shoots his grandma in the leg and asks, "What you gonna do, boy?"
You won't open it? We'll open it together.
Stop. His grandpa starts to laugh and does the crazy Pennywise eyes before snapping the lock off the box, sending Halloran into a mental whirlwind as every evil spirit he ever locked away is now freed inside of his head. Leroy and Polly find themselves alone. Polly's starting to panic and Leroy tells him to calm down. Suddenly, he hears Charlotte's voice calling for help, and then she comes running around the corner saying she's scared, but Leroy knows something's off. Polly says he can't see her, and Leroy makes sure he hears him correctly. Their flashlights both shut off, and all of a sudden Charlotte mutates and charges at Leroy, who shoots her right in the forehead without thinking twice, dropping her. He examines her corpse, and suddenly her eyes open, grinning with Pennywise's crazy smile before disappearing back into the sewer. Leroy warns Polly, if he sees anything down here that doesn't belong, shoot it. Maddie accidentally leads the kids to a dead end. He's confused. They hear Fuller yelling in the distance, and suddenly bodies start floating up. First Susie, then Teddy, and Phil, all rotting. Maddie suddenly starts singing and spinning around a pipe. He's singing Down with the Clown, not the ICP version, while the other kids are surrounded by floating corpses. Suddenly, Lily sees Maddie's corpse float up too. They look up to see Maddie slowly morphing into Pennywise. His voice starts to change, and finally, we get the epic reveal we've been waiting for. The crazy dope-looking Pennywise close-up.
Duck and cover, kiddos.
And they run off. Lily falls, getting left behind by the others. Leroy and Polly reach the entrance the kids came in through. Suddenly, they hear Will yelling from inside the sewers. Leroy aims. Will shouldn't be here. He's ready to pull the trigger when Will comes around the corner, but Polly sees him too. He tries to stop Leroy from shooting, but he's not quick enough, and Leroy gets the shot off, hitting Polly and killing him. They hear Pennywise echoing from the tunnels, and Leroy tells them all they need to get out of here. Lily's trying to catch up to the other kids, but she runs into a dead end. Pennywise corners her, taunting her about how good Maddie tasted, and then morphs into her dad's pickle blob from the grocery store. Pennywise charges, mouth open and ready to attack, but suddenly, he freezes and goes completely still just before reaching her. Lily looks down to see the sacred dagger is glowing in the water at her feet. He can't cross it. It literally froze him in his tracks. He retreats and Lily picks it up. The Juniper Hills housekeeper, who we can assume is Mrs. Kirsch now, please confirm this, leaves her house to find Hank hiding in her back seat. He tells her to drive and she takes him to the woods where they get out and embrace. She's the woman he's been cheating with. Hank tells her that the bus was attacked by something, but he couldn't see what it was. They're not sure what to do now, but he has an idea. Charlotte arrives at the gate to the airbase and finds Ingrid Kirsch, thank you, waiting for her. She tells her they share a mutual friend. Leroy is back at the base, giving his account of the sewer events to a military interrogator. Shaw arrives to apologize for his loss and says he has some questions, but Leroy doesn't want to talk right now. Shaw says they still haven't found Halloran. That's when Dick emerges from the same sewer exit the kids entered from, dazed, confused, and destroyed. He looks over to see Polly stumbling away, dead, pale, and white-eyed. Suddenly, he flashes back into the bathroom, where the box his grandfather opened is glowing on the floor, all the spirits he had locked away being released back into his mind. Damn, this was a good one. Definitely my favorite episode so far. This one was so good. First of all, Maddie tricked the hell out of all of us. He even revealed truths about it, saying that there's a clown in the sewer and it feeds on fear. But then he also says that it only feeds at night, and that's when we should have known something was up because we've seen him attack several times during the daytime. Also, if you didn't notice, during Lily's little lifeboat anchor speech, everyone calls themselves a lifeboat except Maddie. he doesn't speak up or say anything. But where I think he really pulled us in at was when he said Phil was still alive in the sewers. Because me and everybody else on the internet, when we all saw the kids' faces melting away on the cereal boxes, Maddie's and Phil's didn't. And so we all thought we were super smart, like, they're probably still alive, they're just in the deadlights, they're gonna show up later. That was the only explanation. And guess what? All of a sudden, Maddie's back. They manipulated the hell out of us, made us think exactly what they wanted, and then just pulled the rug out. Gotcha. And for that, I say bravo. One of the coolest things I think they revealed in this episode was the fact that it sheds into the water. Now, they always talk about in the book and in the movies that the adults of Derry turn a blind eye to the crazy things that happen, the missing children, and even ignore kids when they need help, as we saw when Charlotte broke up that fight and everyone else in the town just stared at her. It's in the water. It all makes sense. That's why newcomers aren't affected, like Leroy and Charlotte. But after a while, everybody eventually falls under its spell. And that's never been explained before, so that was really cool. I can't believe Leroy almost shot Will. When we heard his voice and he started pointing down the sewer, I said out loud, oh shit. Because after shooting his wife in the head, you know he's not going to think twice about shooting Will in the sewers. He's not supposed to be there. He just left him at the airbase. It is sad Polly died, but to be honest, they never really developed him, so I didn't really feel anything or care. But RIP though. Thank you for your service. The Pennywise reveal was everything that I hoped for. On the mid-season trailer breakdown I did last week, I kind of predicted exactly what would happen. I was saying that I hope the military goes down and they all get slaughtered by it in different forms, and then at the very end he pops out as Pennywise. And that's kind of what we got. We got the ghost Uncle Sam, we got Charlotte, and then we had Maddie turn into Pennywise, which is what I think is the best Pennywise reveal we've had so far in any format. And they finally confirmed that Mrs. Kirsch is the head of housekeeping. I can't believe they waited 5 episodes to confirm who this lady is, but there was a reason for it, obviously. We know she was possessed by it in Chapter 2 when Bev came and saw her as an adult, and I, along with many other people on the internet, have theorized that she was the daughter of the original Pennywise the Dancing Clown before it came and took his form, which would make her the young clown girl from the circus we saw a couple episodes ago, and her father was probably being killed while she sat there. I'm also pretty sure Lily is in her attic during the mid-season trailer, and up there we see that same old Pennywise wig the girl was wearing, and old pictures of the man that played Pennywise with and without the makeup on. And last but not least, I cannot wait to see where this Halloran story goes. They teased that bathroom scene for a few episodes now, and it didn't disappoint. I love how his grandma keeps trying to warn him. He said in The Shining that they used to have complete conversations in their head without ever opening their mouths, and so I don't think Pennywise has anything to do with her showing up. I think she's really just showing up to help him. In the bathroom, she tries to warn him that it's coming, and then he shows up as his abusive grandfather. But she keeps talking to him in his head, trying to tell him that it's not real and he's playing tricks on him. We even see that them conversating bothers his grandfather / it. He doesn't like the fact they can communicate without him hearing. And what's really crazy is the first time Halloran encountered Pennywise, he didn't even know who he was. He asked him, "Who are you?" And then now, he's found a way to get into his head, completely figure him out, and show up with a box that he keeps in his mind that nobody else knows about except for him and his grandma. Now, he uses that box to lock away all the ghosts, evil spirits, and psychic remnants that have ever tried to attack him. It's the only way he can keep them from tormenting him, and it's a process he explains to Danny Torrance in Dr. Sleep. His grandmother taught him that if you visualize a box in your head in great detail, you can lure these spirits into it, close it, and lock them inside forever, like a permanent psychic prison they can never escape from. But now Pennywise has found that box and opened it. What does that mean for him? We don't know, but it's super fun to guess, and here's my theory. Now, in The Shining and Dr. Sleep, he confirms that he can see dead people, ghosts, spirits. The episode ends with him seeing Polly walk out of the sewer, and Polly's dead. So did this overwhelming release of every evil spirit he's ever encountered give him the power to see dead people? Maybe. He's never mentioned it before, and we know later on in life he's capable of it. So maybe this is what caused it. It would make sense, right after he sees Polly, it flashes to the box, open, on the floor, still in that bathroom. Everything that was in it is out now. Let me know what you think. Comment down below, let me know if you think I'm crazy or not. Anyways, if you haven't yet, please take a quick second, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.